All praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem HaKadosh. Double honor to the apostles and elders of great millstone that taught me the truth. Salutations to the Yakim out there on the highways and byways, pushing the truth in all sincerity, risking their lives to do so. Salutations to the hopeful elect, scattered among the four corners of the earth that believe in the truth of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Shalom. This is 2nd Esdras 9:1, which reads, He answered me then and said, Measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest parts of the signs pass, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Therefore, then there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world. Then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. For like as all that is made in the world have a beginning and an end is manifest, even so the times also of the highest shall have plain beginnings in the wonder and powerful works, and the end signs. And it ends in effects and signs. Yeah, so this current pandemic of the coronavirus is an end time sign of the Lord visiting the earth and, passing judgment upon it, to the wicked and of the heathen nations, and also of the 2/3 of the nation of Israel, So this is just, a sign that has to take place, before it's coming, because there are other things that are going to take place, in these end days, before the Lord comes. And this pestilence or this plague that's plaguing the whole world, that the whole world is suffering from, is just one of the end time signs. This is Ecclesiastes 12:3, which reads, In the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease, because they are few, and those that look out of the windows be darkened, and the doors shall be shut in the streets, when the sound of the grinding is low, and he shall rise up at the voice of the bird, and all the daughters of the music shall be brought low. Yeah, so the grinding has ceased in Babylon, and even throughout the world, because there's been a shutdown of restaurants, sporting events. They just postponed the 2020 Tokyo Olympics to the following year, so they pretty much canceled that. And the NBA season has been canceled. The NFL is on postponement as well. Major League Soccer, the NHL. So these things has come to a cease. You can't even go to You can't go to the movie theaters. You can't attend concerts. You can't even have a party of more than two. If you, currently, because the Lord has caused the grinding to cease due to this plague that He has put upon the earth. So we're just pretty much fulfilling the Lord's prophecy. We're living in these days, in these times that the Lord is visiting the earth and passing judgment upon it, and it's actually going to cause a financial collapse that could actually bring upon the mark of the beast, because not just Babylon is struggling, the whole earth is struggling from this this plague, this pandemic that the Lord has placed upon it, and this could very well usher in the implementation of the mark of the beast, because there are talks of it now that they want to make a digital vaccination, and go over into a digital currency, and the whole world is going to be on board with that, because the whole world is in a financial crisis due to this plague. There's talks about setting down certain cities like New York. They want to set New York down for 9 months, and that's going to be total chaos. If so, it's going to be we're going into the warmer months, the summer months, and nobody's want to be cooped up in their house, especially if they don't have you know cooling units in their home, because mainly, in the city, there's not a lot of you know central air housing, so most people have window units or whatnot. But even with that said, in New York, a lot of times they have blackouts or whatnot, and so um, nobody's gonna want to be cooped up in their home. They're gonna want to be out in the streets, catching a cool breeze if they can. And if you got military and police out in the streets, telling you that you can't be out there, it's gonna be it's gonna be chaos, So people are more than likely gonna get in fights, with law enforcement and or armed forces during that time. That could possibly, happen. This is Matthew 24:3, which reads, "And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the signs of thy coming, and of the end of the world?" So the disciples are asking our Savior, Yahweh Shai, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, what will be the end, the end times signs of your coming, We knowing, and Yahweh Shai answered and said unto them, Take heed that no man deceive you, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am the anointed, or the Hamashiach, and shall deceive many. Yeah, so, this is, the many false prophets out there, who have deceived many, and, Esau Edom is one of those that say that they came as a Messiah, like they took it upon themselves to change his image, from a so-called black man, as this, the scriptures describe him in Revelations, the first chapter, the description of him would be described as a so-called black man. But Esau Edom took it upon himself to change the image and make it a so-called white man, So that's, false in itself and pretty much blasphemy of the Holy Spirit, because you deceive many to believe that the Savior of the nation of Israel is a so-called white man, which, pushing your white supremacy and place fear among the world and into the nation of Israel, and also, changing the doctrine, from him being, not only is he here to save the Israelites, but he's here to save, the whole world, which that's not so. The Lord is only going to save the elect of the nation of Israel. He's not even going to save all of Israel, in his coming. He's going to save the elect, but all of Israel shall be saved, which, they're going to receive the kingdom, because the 2/3 of the nation of Israel that the Lord's going to put to death, they're going to be resurrected or born through the 1/3 of the nation of Israel that make it through to see the Lord's salvation. Read knowing, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye not be troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For the nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. There shall be famines and pestilence, coronavirus, and earthquakes in diverse places. Also, these are the beginnings of sorrow. So yeah, we're just in the beginning of this thing, There's more to come, because as we get closer to the Lord's return, all these things are going to intensify, The mark of the beast is actually going to, is going to take place, because that has to be a prophecy that's fulfilled before the Lord comes. And this very well could usher in that mark of the beast, being that they're talking about, making the vaccination of the coronavirus digital. And also they're, going to a digital currency. They want to make a move on the digital currency as well. And with this vaccination, they want to be able to track you in it, So they're going to put all this information right there and there. And also part of the digital vaccination, they want to be able to, determine if you got any type of illness to prevent future plagues from happening as so this could be a medical mandate. And being that if you don't take it, you'll be a threat to society. And they could just actually put you to death, and you just be a casualty of war if you don't want to go along with the system, because they want everything to go back to business as usual. And if you're a threat to them, Esau Edom and his system, or his kingdom, you're going to be put to death if you come against him, because he's the devil, who the Bible speaks of, and the Lord has put him in power. He's been created, to cause wickedness and turmoil and chaos throughout the world. So the Lord is using him, as his whipping stick, and he's just fulfilling, his destination that the Lord has, created him to do. He's not doing this, as his own will, because this is what the Lord, created him for. He created one vessel for honor and one for dishonor. And Esau Edom is the dishonorable vessel that he created. This is Habakkuk 2 and 3. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. So, we're living in the time of the visions that the Lord gave to the prophets, of the end times and the fall of Babylon, and the mark of the beast implementation. We're in that time currently, and the Lord is visiting the earth and causing these plagues to pass judgment on these nations, of the heathen nations in the 2/3 of the nation of Israel, these so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. The Lord is going to require of you spirits, during these times, and his prophecies will be fulfilled, before his coming. But there's an order for things to take place, before that time, before he makes his entrance or his appearance to save and gather up his elect of the nation of Israel. This is Ben Sirach, or Scheleaticus 40 and 9, which reads, Death and bloodshed, strife and sword, calamities, famine, tribulation, and the scourge, these things are created for the wicked, and for their sake came the flood. Yeah, just like in the times of Noah, the Lord is, brought the flood upon the wicked. So these things, such as famine and bloodshed and the sword, because, many people are going to be put to death by the gun, by the knife, that they're going to be out here and, having judgment placed upon them. And these are things that have been created for the wicked, the 2/3 and, the heathen nations, so the Lord's going to require of their spirit, of their souls during this times. Many people are going to lose their lives, because this is the time of judgment. This is the time of tribulation, and this is the time of Jacob trouble that we're living in, and that we're experiencing, and that we're seeing unfold by the Lord. This is Isaiah 65 and 12, which reads, Therefore will I number you to the sword, and ye shall all bow down to the slaughter, because when I called, ye did not answer. When I spake, ye did not hear, but did evil before my eyes, and did choose that wherein I delighted not. Yeah, and this going out to the nation of Israel, because, the Lord has set up the prophets in the highways and byways to, push out his truth and call you into repent, but you refuse to do so. Many of our people, 2/3 of our nation, they want to enjoy the luxuries of Babylon, or wherever nation that they're in captivity in. So they want to continue. They want to celebrate wicked holidays like Christmas and Thanksgiving, Easter, New Year's. They want to commit adulterous acts. Be homosexuals. Eat foods that they're not supposed to eat. Shrimp, crab, lobster, all the things that are abominable to the Lord. So you're delighting in these things. Pork, So, and you're taking a liking to that. You're delighting that. It brings you joy, to disrespect the Lord, and for that, for you rebuking His word, and scoffing at His prophets, you're going to be destroyed. Because you refuse to repent, and you're taking delight in the things that the Lord hates, and that's abominable to Him. Reading on Isaiah 65:13, therefore thus saith Yahweh power, behold, my servant shall eat, but ye shall be hungry. Yeah, so the Lord, He's going to make sure that He takes care of His elect in His time, because the elect is going to be sealed, with a mark, of the Wah, going back to Ezekiel 9, because the Lord, is going to have, a mark of exemption, for the elect, and all the other, that's not marked with the mark of exemption, they're going to be judged. They're going to experience these plagues that the Lord has placed upon the earth in these last days. Reading on, but ye shall hunger, behold my servant shall drink, but ye shall thirst, behold my servant shall rejoice, but ye shall be ashamed. Yeah, so the Lord, the elect is going to be in the joys, rejoicing, at the downfall of the system of Esau, Edom, and the downfall of the 2/3 elect, who are the Lord's enemy as well, because those people of our nation that reject this truth, those the same people that had our Lord put to death, saying crucify him, and we have no king but Caesar, and for this the Lord is gonna, it's gonna, put you to death, because you've been sent back for judgment, you that same spirit that was then there that the Lord is going to place judgment on in these days, but those that believed upon Yahweh Shai then, they believe in Him now, and the Lord is going to, give them redemption, and they're not going to, be put to death during this time, because the Lord is going to, provide for them, and save them, and bring them into the chariots, This is 2nd Esdras 15. And 14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another with swords in their hands. So yeah, this is to come. We're living in this time right now, to where there's going to be race wars and upwards of the people, and you pretty much can say that it's already begun, because this videos of people are already in this country, to where that law enforcement is forcing them off the streets, and they're bucking up against the law enforcement, you know what I'm saying, and they're saying that this is our home, this is where we live, and we're not going nowhere, and it's going to cause chaos, because these people, they don't want to be told how to live and how to move, because they, in their minds, they think they are free, but truly you're in captivity to Esau, Edom, and it's going to cause great turmoil, being that they think that they can move as they feel free, but they're not. That time of living is pretty much over, during this time, because this is the time that the Lord said He was going to visit the earth and pass His judgment upon it. So it's going to be more tribulation to come, and it's just going to intensify. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the courses of their actions shall stand in their power. Yeah, so the Lord, they're going to be, the nations, they're going to be against their law enforcement. The people, that reside in these places throughout the world, they're going to be, fighting against law enforcement. Then have no respect for the government. And because they're going to be going through it too. They're going to experience these same things, and you know that's the time that we're currently in, and that's what you're seeing take place in this world right now. It said a man should desire to go to the city, and they should not be able, which is also taking place, with the martial law. People can't go to and fro freely as they wish before. They got curfews now, so they can tell you like, yo, ask you where you going, and be like, no, you gotta go home because you're under a curfew. You can't go to and fro freely as you wish prior to these events that took place. So those times of enjoying the mirth of Babylon is pretty much coming to its end because the Lord is bringing down Esau Edom in his kingdom. For because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. Yeah. So people are afraid now. As you can see, they promoted fear, with this coronavirus. You got people going out and stockpiling and buying materials to make sure that they have, because they don't know when they're not going to be able to move at all. They could be on complete lockdown and they can't go to stores to get what they need. I just went to the store a few days ago and they got a limitation now because of the madness that was going on in the stores where people were fighting over toilet paper, soap and hand sanitizer, So, it was total chaos in the stores, due to that. So they put a limitation on the amount of items you can get. Like you can get no more than, 2 packs of toilet paper, or paper towels or whatnot, So they got a limitation on the things that you can get, But, this country, we're not even taking imports now, so they might not even have enough, to replenish the shelves, So there's going to be a famine, and that's going to cause more chaos, because when people don't have, they're going to do whatever they have to do to get what they need, And you can see that they even releasing criminals from prison now because they don't want this, the spread of the coronavirus, So that's going to add, to the chaos, that's out there in the world. You know what I'm saying? So Esau Edom does have an agenda, and it's going to come to pass because it's been prophesied to do so in the scriptures, as the Lord has said. His word should not go void. It should accomplish, what he sent it. Just briefly paraphrasing. This is reading on. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of lack of bread and for great tribulation. Yeah, so people are going to be killing each other in order to receive their goods, because if they lack, they're going to go and do whatever they got to do to feed their families, and so they're going to be mass chaos, and people are going to be putting people to death due to this. Let's see what else I want. This is 2 Ezra 15 and 26, which reads, "For the Lord knoweth all them that sin against him, and therefore delivered he them unto death and destruction. For now all the plagues come upon the whole earth, and ye shall remain in them. For the Most High shall not deliver you because you sinned against him." So yeah, the Lord is using this plague as judgment, and there's many more to come. This is not the last plague. This is just the beginning of sorrows. Like, the scriptures say things will intensify as a woman in travail. But yeah, this plague, the Lord has created for judgment. I was just seeing this video the other day when this Northern Kingdom Jake, he was sick and he went to see the doctor, and they just gave him medication and sent him on his way, and he still was feeling ill after going home, and he came back, and they never tested him for the coronavirus. He went back and they sent him back home again, and the next thing you know, the following day or a few days later, he still wasn't getting better, and his wife found him in bed dead the following morning. And once she found that out, she's like, yo, I need to get tested, because she don't know what was his cause of death, because he could have died from the coronavirus. And she currently waiting for her test results. You know what I'm saying? So that was a judgment from the Lord upon them. Because many of our people, you know, like I said, they refuse to know the Lord or return and repent and return back to the Lord. But the Lord is using this time, a tribulation to judge many of the people of His nation as well. You know. This one. This is Second Esdras 16 and 17. Woe is me, who should deliver me in those days? This is Esdras pleading to the Lord, saying He was going to deliver him, which shows reincarnation. Because Esdras is going to be here experiencing these plagues, during these last days. The beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death, the beginnings of wars, and the powers shall stand in fear, the beginnings of evils that shall slakia, the beginnings of evil, what shall I do when the evils shall come? Behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish, or sin as scourges for amendment. Yeah. So this plague, the Lord has placed in the earth, to be a judgment into the earth, and these things are going to happen, and continue to happen until His return. These are just the beginnings, as the scriptures, say. So, the Lord has, much more to come, upon, His judgment of the earth, So we're just going to see more and more turmoil and chaos, and it's going to intensify, because Esau Edom has to be, taken out in order for the nation of Israel, to receive the kingdom of heaven. And, this is what we're experiencing now. So the mark of the beast is on its way in, for those that believe it or not, But only the elect of the nation of Israel is going to be able to see, because the Lord has set these signs up for the elect to recognize, the return of His coming, And, there's going to be war. World War III is definitely going to take place because, China believes that, this is biowarfare, that the U.S., created this to destroy the population, So this will definitely lead, to World War III, because that's also an end time sign, that has to take place, in the Lord's return, So, continue to be on watch, because these things are going to take place because we're in these times, So for the elect that's seeing these things take place, just rejoice and be glad that the Lord has opened you up, your minds, your eyes and your ears to this truth, that you can receive it and understand it and believe upon it, So this is a joyous time for you, and just be grateful that the Lord has, drawn you to, the men of GMS to help you understand this truth, because these are the true men of the Lord, because they been screaming or preaching, the mark of the beast and the downfall of Esau Edom, since day one, since they created YouTube, and you've been able to get these videos or come to the Lord's sanctuary. These are the men that the Lord has set up, to push out His 100% truth. And, they've been preaching this mark of the beast thing from the beginning. So we are in these times, and, this will come to pass. Thus said the Lord. And that's pretty much it. I just want to say, call hello Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Double honor to the apostles, the elders of the great millstone that taught me this truth. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect. And salutations to the Akim out there pushing the truth in all sincerity and resting allowed to do so. Kwam Mashallah, Abba Baba, Shalom.